a pleasure to have both of you. Kenny, I'll be starting with you. What do you make of the DTigress second win, and now that we've qualified for the quarterfinals? Is this the best way to start the AfroBasket tournament? And in your own opinion, do you think we'll be able to power through to the final?
Yeah, great start to the competition for the DTigress of Nigeria. The first game, it was a one-sided game where we won 92 to 45. Second game against Mozambique, it was always going to be tough because Mozambique, they're like one of the top 5 ranked, African teams when it comes to women's football, looking at what they have done in the last couple of, AfroBasket editions. So I think Nigeria, I knew it was going to be very difficult for us heading into that game against Mozambique yesterday. But the turning point was the fourth quarter. That was when we entered the fourth quarter trailing by just 1 point. And I think I must also praise the defensive performance of the DTigress. They were so aggressive on defense. That was also one thing that helped and forced Mozambique to about 20 turnovers in that particular game yesterday. Mozambique led at halftime 28 to 24. And, a lot of things, Nigeria was getting a lot of things wrong in the first half of the game, and they were able to correct that because the pressure from the Mozambicans was getting too much, and we couldn't cope with it in the first half of the game. But second half, third quarter, the girls were able to start control. They got a couple of points. Mozambique would also replicate the same thing. So I think for the DTigress, the defense was what stood out, and of course the heroics of Ezinne Kalu, because while other players were struggling to shoot, to make points, Ezinne Kalu was the one getting those crucial buckets for us. And Promise Amukamara, both players have to be praised. I can't imagine the DTigress without these two players. Trust me, I'm sure they would struggle in that game without Ezinne Kalu and Promise Amukamara. Other players missed 3-point shot, except Promise Amukamara, who scored 3 3-pointers out of 7 attempts made yesterday, and that was the most Nigerian scored all game. Other players, Emi Okonkwo, Victoria Macaulay, every single one of other players missed 3-point shot yesterday. So a lot of things were quite wrong, but of course, the fourth quarter was the turning point for Nigeria, and that was what made us win the game yesterday.
Kenny, we've had mixed opinions regarding the current squad of players representing the DTigress for this tournament, as well as the coaching staff. There's one person who is not part of the coaching staff talking about Abiola Juwon. So basically, there've been a couple of changes. But irrespective of these changes, do you think that with the contingent that we have with the DTigress at the moment, are we doing well enough? Is this expected of us in terms of the performances? And once again, do you still think that we have what it takes to power through?
Yeah, I think we're doing well enough, to be honest, because if you look at the crop of players we have right now, most of them were there at the 2023 edition where we won the AfroBasket Championship. Most of them were there. And if you look at players like Ezinne Kalu, I think it's a decade already since almost a decade she's been playing for the national team. Experience, you bring it any day, anytime. Promise Amukamara to Emi Okonkwo has been here for a couple of years already. Palace Kunayi has been here for a couple. So if you look at the players we have, they have the experience of playing at this stage. Most of them are not new to winning the AfroBasket title. So I think with the crop of players we have, I have no problem in terms of trusting them to go all out and win the title right there. But for the coaching crew, Abiola Juwon, since the aftermath of the Olympic Games and the issue with the payment of allowances, the non-payment of allowances, I think she just opted out of the national team right there. So, Rena Wakama has been doing a very good job. Since Rena Wakama won her first AfroBasket title with Nigeria, she's stepped up her game. Now she's with, I think, is it with Atlanta Dreams right now? I can't remember the WNBA side right now as the assistant coach. Yeah, so she's doing well for herself in trying to, improve our technical and tactical know-how of the game. So we have the right personnel to win it. I think only for Sarah Ogoke, who is yet to join the team. I'm still wondering why you added Sarah to the team when she's going to miss the first 2 games. But of course, we won the first 2 games, so maybe we can't say much about that. Maybe if we probably lost the game, we can begin to question the decision of Sarah not being in the team right now, despite being in the final roster.
Jidechi, 2 games, 2 wins. Are you impressed with what you've seen so far? That's to you, Jidechi. Jidechi, kindly unmute so that we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am impressed. There's nobody that will not be impressed with victories. I think that's what is expected of Nigeria. We come into this tournament as one of the most experienced sides. So it would have actually been a story if we didn't have the 2 wins that we have solved so far. So at this point of this competition. So I particularly am not surprised with what I've seen so far. It's expected. I think the teams that are left in the quarterfinals, we are the only side that have won the tournament multiple times, Mali having won once, I think far back in 2009 or thereabout. So it would have actually been more surprising if we've not gotten to this stage of the competition. I expect them to go all the way, just like the other speaker said. This is also an experienced side. These are not players that are coming into the tournament for the first time. They've been at the AfroBasket on previous occasions. They've won the AfroBasket on previous occasion, and it's like asking somebody that has been in a room before to go into that room in the dark. You should be able to find your way around, even with the lights off. And I think that's what this AfroBasket is all about for us, because we have a coach that is a defending champion. We have some of the players that are in this current roster that we are in the last squad that won the AfroBasket. So I pretty much expect even more wins, more than what we've seen so far. I expect the team to go all the way.
All right, then. Kenny, we've moved on to the quarterfinal stage at this point in time. There's a possibility that we might be facing either Cameroon or Angola. In your opinion, do you have a preference regarding who we should face in the quarterfinals, and what are our chances against either one of them?
Yeah. Bring it on. Bring anybody on right now. The DTigress will be them. I think for Angola, I don't think Cameroon. I saw Cameroon play. I was far from impressed watching Cameroon play. I've seen Angola play too. I don't think they're actually close to what we're doing right now, talking about, that particular team, Angola. So I think for that, it's actually not good enough if we're trying to select, the teams that we want to face as regards the quarterfinals. But I'm only concerned because we might be facing Mozambique again, maybe in the semi-finals or maybe the finals. We just want to keep our fingers crossed. So the only team that the teams that will give us a big run for our money in winning the AfroBasket, there is Senegal, there is Mali, there is also Mozambique, and even Mali have also not been so convincing. So DTigress didn't have very good preparation before this one, but they say form is temporal, but class is permanent, and the players we've got, they've got the class right there. So any opponent we have, we will dispatch them in emphatic fashion.
Form is temporary, but class is permanent, and hopefully the DTigress will continue to show that they're one of the best in Africa, arguably the best in Africa. Kenny Bamidele, it's always a pleasure talking basketball with you. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully we can have you back on subsequent editions to talk about the success of DTigress. Do have a fantastic day.